been delivering packages the night before using his personal vehicle. He got into a confrontation and somebody shot and killed him. So far, detectives have not released any information about a suspect.
Seattle police have released video from an arson last November. They're hoping that someone will recognize the people caught on camera. The video shows people inside a vacant building on Rainier Avenue South on November 28th. It took 80 firefighters hours to bring that fire under control. Detectives haven't been able to identify the individuals in the video. If you know who they are, call Seattle police. Almost Karina Borges will have much more on the search and what's being done about vacant buildings. That's tonight at 6 o'clock.
Tonight, two Thurston County deputies are recovering after a DUI suspect rammed into their police cruiser during a pursuit. It started when deputies tried to pull over a man in a pickup truck along Martin Way East in Lacey. The driver took off north on I-5 and at one point drove across the median onto I-5 South. Deputies stopped him with a pit maneuver, and that's when the truck rammed the deputies. Eventually, the transmission on the man's truck failed, and he was arrested. One deputy has been released from the hospital, but the other is being treated now for serious injuries. And tonight, Auburn police say a prolific burglary suspect and another man purposely crashed into an Auburn police vehicle while trying to escape arrest. Auburn police posted this photo online today showing the damage. This happened on Wednesday along I Street near 18th. The Valley SWAT team was attempting to arrest the man at the time. The impact of the crash was so severe, it broke part of the officer's SWAT helmet. That officer was treated for minor injuries. The burglary suspect broke his leg in the crash. He's been arrested now, along with the man who was driving the vehicle.
Tonight, the State Patrol says it's investigating 2 shootings on local highways, and they bring the total number of highway shootings this year so far to 6. The most recent ones happened last night. First on State Route 518 in Burien, when a man says someone stood through the sunroof of a car and shot at him. Less than a mile away, a man called police saying he'd been shot in the leg on State Route 900 in Tukwila. The State Patrol is urging anyone who saw anything or what happened to contact them. Coming up at 6, Como's Joe Marino is asking law enforcement how they plan to put an end to this violent trend.
And that brings us to our Como Pulse poll tonight. Scan the QR code on your screen to participate. Tonight, we're asking, what factors do you think contribute to freeway shootings? And here's a live look at the results. Right now, most people at 70%, 69% say limited consequences. 20% blame road rage, and the final 10% say lax gun laws. Again, if you'd like to weigh in, just scan the code that's on your screen. That takes you directly to the story on ComoNews.com.
Taking live looks outside on this Friday evening. We're bracing for what's looking like a real soaker of a weekend. Let's bring in Chief Meteorologist Shannon O'Donnell for a look at what we can expect. Sounds wet, Shannon.
It does. It's already so wet out there, Eric. And now that we have turned on the rain, we'll have a really tough time turning it back off for about 5 or 6 days in a row. We're used to rain around here, but this is different. It's the atmospheric river, Pineapple Express version, that's pumping up from the Hawaiian Islands. That's going to keep our rainfall warm and steady, melting our snow and bringing us some river flooding, probably quite a bit of urban flooding. I mean, we're splashing around and getting slowed down by the big puddles out there on the freeways as well. You can already see the impact up in the Cascades at Mount Rainier, the road to paradise, because it's already picking up a shine out there from the rain coming down instead of the snow. And look at all the snow on either side of the roadway. That's going to start melting off, coming right back down the sides of the slopes and filling up our river basins around here. Radar imagery showing that steady rainfall now from the coast to the Cascades. Even at Snoqualmie Summit, we're starting to see that precipitation quickly turning over to sleet and rain. And from here on out this weekend, the snow level is going to be around 8,000 feet. Steady rain all the way from Olympia into Seattle and Everett by now. So the hour-by-hour forecast for the rest of the evening commute looks like more of the same. Temperatures pretty much parked around 50, but by this weekend, in some cases, we could surpass 60, maybe some record highs. We'll talk more about that and the potential for some river flooding here in the Northwest coming up in my next forecast.
And taking a live look now at the U.S. Capitol tonight, where the rare bipartisan deal on tough new border security is at risk of falling apart. Former President Trump, who is the current Republican 2024 frontrunner, publicly slammed the negotiations. And now many Republican lawmakers don't want to give Joe Biden this major legislative win, believing that would hurt Trump's chances in November. The Trump campaign has been pointing to border problems as a major campaign issue this season, and a deal could weaken that. Trump ramped up his criticism, writing on social media that a Potential compromise would be meaningless and, in his words, just another gift to the radical left Democrats as Joe Biden runs for re-election. House Speaker Mike Johnson put out a new letter to colleagues today saying the agreement is dead on arrival in the House if it resembles anything close to what's been reported. Senate Republicans say Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell is aware of Trump's opposition, but he's still working towards a deal.
The idea that someone running for president would say, please rip the country so I can blame my opponent and help my politics is shocking.
Trump's close ally, Lindsey Graham, tried to appeal directly to the former president.
I will say, President Trump, if we can put this package together the way I hope it falls into place, then we'll have more tools to secure America than we've ever had.
Senate negotiators say the border bill is about 95% written and that the text of the legislation could be released as soon as next week.
Former President Donald Trump will have to pay an additional $83.3 million to E. Jean Carroll. The writer smiled outside the courthouse this afternoon, but made no comment about the verdict. The New York jury deliberated for several hours today before deciding the damages that Trump owes Carroll for defamatory statements he made in 2019 about her claims that Trump sexually assaulted her. The trial had to do with things that Trump said while he was president. Last May, a jury found Trump liable for sexual abuse and ordered him to pay E. Jean Carroll $5 million. It also found that he defamed her in 2022 by claiming that she made up the allegation to sell a memoir. Trump left the courtroom today before the $83.3 million verdict was read. Trump blasted the verdict on Truth Social, calling it absolutely ridiculous. He vows to appeal both verdicts and says the legal system is out of control and being used as a political weapon. Trump insists he was falsely accused.
Still ahead tonight, COVID and pregnancy. What a new study reveals about the future health of children whose mothers caught the virus while pregnant. A top Democrat going after a popular nicotine product. I'm Jade in Washington. We'll look at how this could hurt their chances with Gen Z voters.
Promo News continues right after this.
Cool cars and fun for the whole family. Spend the day with us in America's Car Museum.
What would you like to make disappear?
When you want them to disappear, all you have to do is point.
1-800-GOT-JUNK.
There's a critical need for more donations right now. More appointments have been added, so it's even easier to schedule a donation on your phone and save a life. Look at colornews.com/bloodworks or scan the code on your screen. Thanks for doing.
This tap is a turning point that shapes how teens navigate the world. It's how they connect with their community, learn how to speak, and ignite their creativity. But the internet is vast, and with access to so many apps, parents can have a say in which apps their teens download. That's why Instagram wants to work with Congress to require parental approval wherever teens over 16 download apps.
Dude, what are you doing? We're fixing my car. That's too much work. It's so much easier. Laser measure 4 liners up here, seat protector, and cargo liner back there. Nice. Here's other window deflectors, and bump flaps, and bump step. Keep the bumper dent free. It's the best protection for your vehicle. New or pre-owned. Learn more at Protect.com.
Every January, Closet Factory turns National Organization Day into a month. Ample time to get with your personal designer to reimagine the space in your home with organization built in, and that will.
Alexis, show all to their routes.
The future. Sometimes it's a work in progress. Other times it's pretty well thought out. The tech forward and tech ready Lexus NX.
Lease the 2024 NX 350 hybrid all-wheel drive for $499 a month for 36 months.
We brought a truckload of magic. What would you like to make disappear?
All that stuff on sale. When you want them to disappear, all you have to do is point. Bye.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
King County Metro Rapid Ride J line is one step closer to becoming reality. Today, state and local leaders were on hand in Seattle to accept more than $64 million in grant money from the Federal Transit Administration. The money will go towards the Rapid Ride J line project, which would replace Metro's Route 70, which connects the University District in downtown Seattle to the East Lake and South Lake Union neighborhoods.
Transit improvements are some of the most important investments we can make to build a better and more prosperous future for the city.
Officials hope to select a contractor by the end of spring and start construction later on this year.
The babies of women who get COVID while pregnant stand a higher risk of respiratory issues. That's according to a new study published in Nature Communications. More than 200 pregnant women with COVID. None of their babies tested positive for COVID at birth, but 17% were diagnosed with respiratory distress, compared to the normal average of about 5 to 7%. Those infants were hospitalized for around 3 weeks. It is important to note it's not just COVID that can impact the pregnancy. Women who get the flu also have higher risks for preterm birth and birth defects.
The murder case against Brian Koberger, who is accused of killing 4 University of Idaho students over a year ago in their off-campus house, will continue, but a trial date won't come as quickly as the victims' families were hoping. Today, an Idaho judge heard arguments from Koberger's defense team. They asked the judge to dismiss the charges against Koberger as well as the indictment. Both were denied. Prosecutors were hoping to get a trial date sometime this year, but because of the large amount of evidence in the case, the soonest the trial can begin is March of 2025.
Top Democrats are looking to crack down on Zen, smoke-free nicotine pouches they say target and harm kids. But the move could negatively impact their efforts to get much-needed Gen Z votes. National correspondent Jade Bourgens explains the political backlash.
These brightly powerful Zen nicotine pouches are the newest players in the cultural war.
Pouch packed with problems.
Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says the smoke and tobacco-free Zen that comes in a variety of flavors are harming kids.
So today, I'm delivering a warning to parents because these nicotine pouches seem to lock their sights on young kids, teenagers, and even lower, and then use the social media to hook them.
And he's calling on the federal government to investigate.
First, the DC Libs came for our guns. Now, they're coming for our Zen. Enough is enough.
Conservatives using the top Democrats' crusade as a rallying cry for what Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene calls a Zensurrection, adding the focus needs to be on deadly fentanyl instead.
I'm going to err on the side of more freedom and personal choices.
The backlash is bipartisan.
I think there's bigger issues to address than that product.
The company behind Zen, Philip Morris International, is also firing back. They say it's only marketed to smokers and nicotine users 21 and older.
These products are really highly regulated. The product has been on the market for more than 10 years.
But a political concern for Democrats is that Schumer seems to be trying to take down a product loved by many Gen Zers, a key Democratic voting bloc.
I feel like there are more important things for this man to worry about than our nicotine usage. Like what?
Most concerning for Democrats is that polls show younger voters are growing discontent with President Biden and lagging enthusiasm for his re-election bid. Now, this could be a problem for Democrats who benefited from a record turnout of younger voters in 2020. The White House staying quiet on the Zen controversy. In Washington, Jade Bourgens.
Caught on camera, a dramatic rescue in Arkansas after a young boy fell into a partially frozen pond. It happened last week at an apartment complex in Jonesboro. When officers got there, the boy was holding onto a piece of ice. Officer Troy Ellison crawled onto the ice and was able to pull that boy to safety. He was taken to the hospital to get checked out.
Wow, thank goodness, that's scary. All right, let's check in with meteorologist Shannon O'Donnell now for more on the rain and the rain and the rain.
Yeah, that's all it is here for the next several days to come. And with that, a big warm up. And so we're worried about the impact on our own snowpack, that all melting off. And then it comes tumbling back down and ends up in our lakes and rivers and makes kind of a mess around here. A beautiful shot from earlier this morning on the Kitsap Peninsula, courtesy of John. All of our snow northwest shades here. The blue, the evergreen, and of course, a lot of heavy gray. And now that gray is yielding a lot of steady rain. It is arriving as we speak. It is going to make itself very at home for the next 5 to 6 days. And because it's the Pineapple Express variety of an atmospheric river, it does tend to put a lot of pressure on our area rivers down below. This is the view over downtown Seattle right now. It is overcast. Our sunset here around 5 p.m., so still a little bit of daylight left out there. But yeah, not much in the way of sun breaking through, even if it had been still with us, because the cloud cover is just really pulling over the top of us, and now that right behind it. You can see that steady rain along the coast, marching through the strait all the way up the I-5 corridor. The evening is pretty much a washout at this point. Has been for several hours at the coastline, but it followed suit here up the I-5 corridor into downtown Seattle. You can see that rain stretching from Hood Canal and Bainbridge and Vashon Islands back over Alki Point, West Seattle, Constellation Park, and towards the Holly tonight. And then checking out the passes, turn there right over the top of Snoqualmie Summit is already indicating all rainfall. Some snow on the backside near Suncadia and Cleellum, but already warming quickly there at Snoqualmie Pass. In terms of our temps today, 40s to low 50s, already above where we're supposed to be for this time of year, and about to get warmer still. This is the reason why next weather maker, this big slug of moisture that extends all the way deep into the Pacific, some of it with a subtropical route toward the Hawaiian Islands. So that is known as the Pineapple Express. When we pull that atmospheric river from deep into the subtropics, we're going to have that rain stays with us all night into tomorrow morning, raining up in the Cascades as well. And then you can see a secondary route of some heavy rain. Here we go again, it's starting to pick up on the ocean beaches by this time tomorrow night. So it stays pretty steady. We'll have a hard time finding a break in the rain. By the time we wrap up this round of steady rain by Wednesday evening, we're talking about a couple of inches of rain in the gauge here around Puget Sound. Frankly, it could be a lot worse, and it will be worse in some locations here on the Olympic Peninsula and back into British Columbia. That's where we're going to get this atmospheric river, and then we'll likely see some severe problems with some river flooding as we head into early next week. In the meantime, overnight tonight, our lows upper 40s. Those are supposed to be our daytime highs, so you can see how things are warming up quickly. Then we end up in the upper 50s already tomorrow, including 58 around Lake Steilacoom, 55 at Merriamore Park, through the ocean beaches, the Strait of Juan de Fuca, and the San Juans. A little bit breezy as well. Southerly winds 15 to 35 miles per hour. And eastern Washington also starting to warm up pretty quickly. Walla Walla at nearly 50 tomorrow. By this weekend, the basin will also see temps near 60. Between it all, we've got that snow level sky high tomorrow. If you have past travel in mind, at least it will be easier to navigate the roadways. They will be wet rather than white, but so will the ski slopes. They will also be dealing with quite a bit of steady rainfall, unfortunately, this weekend after we just built up that beautiful snowpack over the course of the month of January. Weather-worn days, Sunday, Monday, and Eric and Molly, that's because I think that has the best chance of seeing our rivers impacted by this and starting to respond to this heavy rainfall, probably dealing with some flood warnings by early next week.
When you mentioned this Pineapple Express, I think Hawaii.
Right.
This doesn't sound anything like Hawaii.
No, not nearly as fun around here this raining yet.
Thanks, Shannon.
Hello News continues after this.
Tonight is a possible bipartisan solution to the border crisis colliding with campaign politics, plus tracking the flooding of heavy rain and melted snow. More Americans turn to the most watched newscast on television. World News Tonight with David Muir.
A highly capable family of Hyundai SUVs. Now get 0% APR or $1,500 bonus cash on the 2024 Tucson. See your Western Washington Hyundai dealer. More than just business. It's the beautiful culture and wisdom of China. Before communism, Shen Yu call home at Sierra Center, 5337,
In order for small businesses to thrive, they need to be smart, efficient, savvy, making the most of every opportunity. That's why Comcast Business is introducing the Small Business Bonus. For a limited time, you can get up to a $1,000 prepaid card with qualifying internet. Yep, $1,000. So switch to business internet from the company to the largest, fastest, reliable network.
Give your business a head start in 2024 with this great offer. Plus, ask how to get up to a $1,000 prepaid card with qualifying internet. Switch today.
Make a big play for cash and prizes this January at Tulalip and the Q. Every day of the week gives you the chance to join the drawings all month long. Find all the details online at TulalipCasino.com.
exposed it to life-threatening diagnoses and put the brakes on his family. But Lily and Penny are showing the world what they're made of. Through breakthrough research, compassionate care, and support from people like you, Seattle Children's is fighting for lasting cures. So for every kid that didn't have a chance, this will live this fight. Because this isn't about winning the odds, it's about changing them for all humankind. Care, Seattle Children's.
Root Sports is now streaming on Fubo TV. Watch the Blazers, Kraken, and more. Streaming live on all your devices. Plus, over 350 top games. Try free at FuboTV.com. Highly capable family of Hyundai SUVs. Now get 0% APR or $1,500 bonus cash on the 2024 Tucson. See your Western Washington Hyundai dealer.
More than 1 million people in Washington rely on food banks. Many of them are parents struggling to feed their kids. That's why Como 4 is teaming up with Food Lifeline for our Tackle Hunger Como Food Drive. And you can help. Scan the QR code on your screen or visit comonews.com/tacklehunger. Your donation will help Food Lifeline supply more than 400 food banks across Western Washington. You can also see how to volunteer or find a nearby food bank. Thanks for donating from Food Lifeline and Como 4.
Coming up on Como News at 6 o'clock.
I'm Chris Daniels on the 7th floor of Seattle City Hall, where I just sat down with Seattle Mayor Bruce Harrell, and I asked him, because of this recent string of violent events, when will we see a timeline for improving public safety?
Freeway shootings already showing an early surge around King County so far this year. And what we're learning on the latest cases about drivers who came under fire just this week.
Some auto workers in Flint, Michigan will be missing an hour of pay on Sunday night, but nobody seems to be complaining.
Not one bit. General Motors has announced that it will delay the start of its third shift at its assembly plant in Flint so workers can watch the Lions game. The company says the NFC Championship game is a rare, unique opportunity that warrants the temporary schedule adjustment. It's been 32 years since the Lions made it this far. GM wants employees to be able to enjoy the game and get to work on time. There's been no word from Ford about possible production delays, and the car maker Stellantis says it will proceed as usual.
So Sick calls it Stellantis is what you're telling me.
No, that's going to happen.
World News Tonight is coming up next.
My foot pain is breaking your heart. A mother's story. My foot pain got really bad after I had my son. I didn't have any energy left to play with him. She tried various tricks and treatments. A lot of those disposable throwaway inserts. Nothing worked. Till she got fitted for good feet arch supports. I could feel like something was happening. Something good. It's been a life changer. For Elisa and her now not so baby boy. Stop by for your free fitting at the Good Feet store. Internet that's everything you imagine, and then some. Quantum fiber. At Carter Subaru, your drive is safe. Rates as low as 1.9% on select 2024 Outback. Shop in store or from home. And at Carter Subaru, easily less Carter
Feel that chill in the air? It's furnace season. Don't go into the cold weather without a game plan. Coach Holmgren here for my heating company, Cardinal Heating and Air. They'll find the right furnace at the right price with the right financing. Stop sacrificing comfort. They take care of my house, they'll take care of yours too. Remember, the Cardinal way is the only way to heat your home.
Make a big play for cash and prizes this January at Trisha and the Every day of the week gives you the chance to join the giveaway all month long. Find out the details online at qccasino.com.
Warriors, Saturday at 5 on Channel 4.
Tonight, breaking news involving Donald Trump. The jury's decision just in. The stunning move late today, the jury ordering Donald Trump to pay Eugene Carroll more than $83 million in damages for publicly defaming her repeatedly. They found he acted maliciously in attacking her. Aaron Paterski standing by live at the courthouse. Also tonight, this new storm moving in right through the weekend. Heavy rain and flooding from Texas to Georgia, all the way up the East Coast into the Northeast. What to expect after 80 degrees today in Washington, D.C. What's now coming from D.C., New York, Boston? Bob Marshall is here. There's also breaking news tonight. Iranian militants striking a British ship with a missile. That ship is now on fire, in danger of sinking tonight. Mark the Raddatz with late reporting. There are also late developments in the Israel-Hamas war tonight. 12 UN aid workers accused of taking part in the Hamas terror attack on October 7th. What's now happened to those workers tonight, mapped up and standing by in Israel. Here in the U.S., the dramatic testimony in the trial of Jennifer Crumbley today, the mother of school shooter Ethan Crumbley. The parents who bought their son the gun days later called into school because of concerns over his behavior and what he had written. Prosecutors say they never told the school they might want to check for the gun. He opened fire hours later. Tonight, the first ever execution in the U.S. using nitrogen gas. Several other states now set to follow suit. Witnesses of what happened in that room as the convict was put to death. Tonight, Taylor Swift and the growing concern over artificial intelligence, artificial images, deep fakes, explicit in nature, seen more than 47 million times before being taken down. Tonight, the call for action with the AI threat only growing. Tonight, King Charles hospitalized, undergoing procedure, news on his condition coming in and how he's doing. The American Olympic gold medal skier airlifted to the hospital tonight. Also, the incredible moment on the playground. The little boy, just 7, and what he said to the little girl who believed she'd been bullied. His moving words going viral tonight. Our Persons of the Week. From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with Jade. Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a Friday night. We begin tonight with the breaking news, the jury's decision involving Donald Trump. The jury of 7 men and 2 women ordering Trump to pay Eugene Carroll more than $83 million in damages for publicly defaming her repeatedly. They found Trump acted maliciously, attacking her over and over again. Another jury had already found Trump liable for sexually assaulting her. It took this jury less than 3 hours to decide the damages. Carroll's lawyers had asked for far less. The jury clearly aiming to send a message to Donald Trump. Tonight, Trump now responding. ABC senior investigative correspondent Aaron Paterski leading us off outside the courthouse tonight.
Tonight, the staggering judgment against Donald Trump. A jury of 7 men and 2 women ordering him to pay writer Eugene Carroll $83.3 million for defaming her after she went public with an accusation that he sexually assaulted her in a department store dressing room in the 1990s. Trump had already been found liable for the sexual assault. Tonight, the jury punishing him for defaming Carroll by publicly attacking her again and again. Lawyers playing examples in court.
I have no idea who this one. This is a fake story, made up story. I have no idea who the hell. She's a whack job.
But the jury was shown this photo. Trump and Carroll greeting each other in the late 1980s. In closing arguments today, her lawyers asking the jury, how much will it take to make him stop? They said Trump's defamatory statements triggered a tsunami of attacks, including death threats that are now part of her daily life. Carroll had testified she keeps a pit bull at home, a gun by her bed. She said the former president shattered her reputation, adding, I've paid just about as dearly as is possible to pay. Trump was not required to attend this trial, but he showed up in court 4 times anyway, treating it as a virtual campaign stop and a way to raise money. He was here today for closing arguments, but as Carroll's lawyer spoke, he stormed out. The record will reflect that Mr. Trump just rose and walked out of the courtroom, Judge Lewis Kaplan said. The former president was not in the room when the jury announced its verdict. After, jurors spirited out, driven away from the courthouse, their identities protected. Judge Kaplan telling them, my advice to you is that you never disclose that you were on this jury.
$83 million is far more than what E. Jean Carroll and her attorneys were expecting, more than 3 times what they asked for. The jury decided that Trump's statements about Carroll not only caused her to suffer, but were malicious and made out of spite, and for that he needed to be punished. Tonight, Donald Trump says this is absolutely ridiculous, and he's vowing to appeal.
David, Eric Tursky leading us off. Thank you, Aaron. Now with a new storm moving in tonight and right through the weekend, heavy rain and flooding from the Gulf all the way up into the Northeast all over again. And after 80 degrees in Washington, D.C. today, now a new storm moving into the east this weekend. Tonight, the flood threat from Louisiana up through West Virginia right now. Severe weather along the Gulf and heavy rain for the I-95 corridor, Washington, D.C. up through New York City, Boston. There could also be significant snow from Ohio to New York to New England. See you on this, Rob Marciano back with us live tonight, tracking it all. Hey, Rob.
Hi, David. The final big wave of this very active week about to come through to make a mess of it for at least one day for most everybody east of the Mississippi. It's right now, it's over Texas. The flood watches run up the Appalachians. Chicago, you'll stay in the soup through Saturday and Sunday. But severe thunderstorms, as you mentioned, along I-10, heavy rain, I-20 to I-40, Atlanta included. That pushes up east into the northeast. D.C., you'll cool down with rain. Rain, but not cold enough for snow in New York City, but inland areas, especially in the hills, could see up to 6, maybe even 12 inches of snow. But here on I-95, it will be mostly wet. Kids will be back in school on Monday.
David, Rob Marciano with us tonight. Rob, thank you. There is breaking news tonight. Iranian militants striking a British ship with a missile. That ship now on fire and in danger of sinking tonight. Iranian-backed Houthi militants striking a British oil tanker, setting it ablaze. A U.S. ship rushing to answer the distress call. Here's Mark Aranis.
Tonight, a troubling escalation. Iran-backed Houthi rebels attacking a British oil tanker in the Gulf of Aden, leaving the ship ablaze and reportedly at risk of sinking, the crew abandoning the tanker. Tonight, the destroyer USS Carney and a French warship are on their way to assist the Marlin Rwanda, damaged by an anti-ship ballistic missile. Houthi rebels have launched nearly 36 attacks on commercial and Navy ships to show solidarity with Palestinians in Gaza. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs telling me today that the 9 retaliatory strikes the U.S. has already carried out against the Houthis are designed so as not to cause a wider war.
When you walk this fine line of not wanting it to escalate, what would you say to those people who are particularly critics who would say, look, they're not being tough enough on these militants, they're not being tough enough on Iran?
I would also ask you to be one of our conflict. We want us in a full-scale war. That's the goal is to do that, to deter them, and we don't want to go down a path of greater escalation that drives to a much broader conflict within the region.
What is clear tonight is that deterrence is thus far not working, and in fact, these attacks on commercial ships are only getting worse. David?
And much more of Martha's interview for one-on-one with the new chairman of the Joint Chiefs coming up Sunday morning on This Week, Martha. Thank you. There's also major news coming in from the Israel-Hamas war tonight. The U.S. has paused funding to the UN agency that is actually providing aid to the Palestinians after the stunning allegation that 12 UN workers took part in the Hamas terror attack on October 7th. Here's ABC's Matt Duffin from Israel again tonight.
Shocking new allegations tonight against the UN's largest aid provider in Gaza. Israel submitting what it says is evidence that 12 aid workers took part in Hamas's October 7th rampage. The United Nations Relief Agency for Palestinian Refugees, or UNRWA, immediately firing those workers, saying its investigation could lead to criminal charges. Tonight, the State Department temporarily pausing funding to the agency.
If the investigation proves that, in this case, I think it's about a dozen employees were assisting Hamas, and even to the point of maybe even involved in hostage taking, then absolutely they need to be held to account.
It comes after the International Court of Justice, in a sharp rebuke of Israel's conduct of the war, ordered it to, quote, take all measures to prevent genocide. The interim ruling stopped short both of calling Israel's actions in Gaza genocide or demanding an immediate ceasefire.
So what is Israel saying to the allegations of war crimes? War crimes, families being blown up in airstrikes without genocide.
And tonight, Hamas releasing chilling new video showing 3 female Israeli hostages pleading for their release. The family's asking we only use a still from the video.
And then back to those UN workers accused of involvement in Hamas's October 7th attack. The Biden administration is now calling for a full and transparent investigation, but they say that the actions of a few should not impugn the entire agency.
It's still just extraordinarily true. Matt Gutman tonight. Matt, thank you. Back here in the U.S. into the dramatic testimony of the trial of Michigan mother Jennifer Crumbley, charged in her son's deadly attack at school. The parents bought their son a gun, and days later were called into school because of concerns over his behavior and what their son had written. Prosecutors say the parents never told the school they might want to check for the gun. He opened fire hours later. Here's Trevor Ault.
Tonight, prosecutors in the case of Jennifer Crumbley taking the jury minute by minute through the worst school shooting in Michigan history, playing the frantic 911 call from her husband when he discovered the handgun he purchased for his son was missing. I think my son. Surveillance video played in court shows the parents at the school around 11 a.m. are meeting with their son and a counselor after a teacher discovered disturbing drawings on his math worksheet. Crumbleys chose not to take him home. Prosecutors showing the jury the last messages Jennifer Crumbley sent her son before he took the lives of 4 of his classmates. At 12:21, she asks, "You okay?" The shooter responding a minute later, "Yeah, I just got back from lunch." At 12:38, Jennifer says, "You know you can talk to us and we won't judge." 13 minutes later, at 12:51, he began his rampage. The prosecution argues the day before, Jennifer Crumbley laughed off her then 15-year-old son getting caught searching ammunition online at school, texting, "You have to learn not to get caught," after previously dismissing his hallucinations and cries for help. The shooter texting his, quote, "only friend,"
Like it's at the point that I asked him to go to the doctor. But he says, "My mom laughed when I told her."
The defense argues Jennifer Crumbley had no idea her son would become a murderer. Pointing to this text she sent a friend hours after the shooting. "I wish we had warning," she writes. "He's a good kid." Jennifer Crumbley's attorneys wanted her son to testify, claiming he needs to be questioned as to whether those messages he sent were truthful, but his attorneys had made it clear he would simply take the fifth, so the judge has now confirmed the shooter will not take the stand in his mother's trial.
Trevor Ault tonight, thank you. Returning now to new reaction tonight after the first ever execution in the U.S. using nitrogen gas in Alabama. Several other states are now set to follow suit. Witnesses tonight on what happened in that room as the topic was put to death. Here again, Steve Osensami.
Alabama, like every other state with the death penalty that uses lethal injections, has had trouble getting the medications to carry out these capital punishments. But tonight, they're pointing to the execution of Kenneth Smith using nitrogen gas as a way forward. As of last night, national clock season end of execution is no longer an untested method. It is a proven. Alabama has done it, and now so can you. Smith was executed because he stabbed and killed Elizabeth Sanders, a preacher's wife, in 1988. The jury gave him life in prison, but the judge overruled that sentence and put him on death row. He was scheduled to die more than a year ago, but the execution failed after prison officials struggled to get him healed and end his veins. This time, they started shortly before 8 p.m. local on Thursday, strapping him to the table, fitting a mask over his face, and pouring nitrogen into the mask. It robbed him of oxygen, and witnesses say he was dead by 8:15.
Smith appeared to violently shake, have seizure-like movements, and convulse on the gurney for at least 2 minutes.
Prison officials pushed back against any idea that there were any problems.
Nothing was out of what we were expecting.
One of Elizabeth Senate's sons says that justice was served.
Nothing happened here today. It's going to rain. Long back.
White House officials are weighing in, calling this execution troubling. Some other states are already turning towards nitrogen gas for their executioners, the states of Oklahoma and Mississippi.
David Steve Osensami on this piece again tonight. Thanks, Steve. We have been reporting here on the potential dangers of artificial intelligence, like the White House again raising alarm this time after artificial images, deep fakes of Taylor Swift, explicit in nature, one image shared 47 million times before being taken down. Here's Ariel Richard.
Tonight, the White House expressing alarm after explicit so-called deepfakes of superstar Taylor Swift
flooded social media. The administration now calling out platforms for lax enforcement against artificial intelligence. One of the fake images of Swift reportedly shared over 47 million times on X in what advocacy groups say is a form of sexual abuse.
There should be legislation, obviously, to deal with this issue. Congress should take legislative action.
X saying in a statement the platform has a zero tolerance policy towards such content, and they are working to remove all of the images. This, the latest example highlighting the growing dangers posed by artificial intelligence as a source of misinformation, targeting celebrities and our elections. And before the New Hampshire primary last week, the Biden campaign denouncing this deepfake robocall, encouraging people not to go to the polls from what listeners thought was President Biden. That voice, not the president. It was artificially produced, prompting a criminal investigation by the state's attorney general. David, legislation has been proposed in Congress that would make posting illicit fake photos like the ones of Taylor Swift a federal crime. That topic likely to come up between lawmakers and social media execs who will be on the Hill next week. David?
So many hurdles ahead when it comes to AI. Ariel Resha, Ariel, thank you. When we come back here, King Charles hospitalized tonight, undergoing a procedure. We don't have news on his condition, how he's doing. The American Olympic gold medal skier airlifted to the hospital tonight. And later here, we will hear the recording, 2 7-year-olds, what the boy said to the girl. Our patience week.
This is a hot flash. This is a hot flash. But this is a not flash. There's big news for women going through menopause. Veoza, a prescription treatment for moderate to severe vasomotor symptoms, the medical name for hot flashes and night sweats. With hormone-free Veoza, you can have fewer hot flashes and more not flashes. Veoza is proven to reduce the number and severity of hot flashes day and night. For some women, it can start working in as early as 1 week. Don't use Veoza if you have cirrhosis, severe kidney problems, kidney failure, or take CYP1A2 inhibitors. Increased liver blood test values may occur. Your doctor will check them before and during treatment. Most common side effects include stomach pain, diarrhea, difficulty sleeping, back pain, and hot flashes. Ask your doctor about hormone-free Veoza and enjoy more not flashes.
Whatever weather comes your way, WeatherTech has you covered. With our laser measured carpet tiles, no drill nut flaps, and floor blankets. To secure your phone, don't forget the cup phone. Order yours today at WeatherTech.com. You never know when it's going to be a WeatherTech day.
Ameriprise Financial. Advice worth talking about. My store, my design business, we're exploding. But my own internet is not letting me run the show. So we switched to Verizon Business Internet. They have business-grade internet nationwide. Make the switch. It's your business. It's your Verizon.
Remember the things you lost before asthma got in your way? Fasenra is an oral treatment for asthma driven by eosinophils. It's designed to target and remove them and helps prevent asthma attacks. Fasenra is not for sudden breathing problems or other eosinophilic conditions. Allergic reactions may occur. Don't stop your asthma treatments without talking with your doctor. Tell your doctor if your asthma worsens. Headache and sore throat may occur. Tell your doctor if you have a parasitic infection. Get back to better breathing. Ask your doctor about Fasenra.
Tonight, King Charles is now in the hospital in London undergoing a treatment for a large prostate. Charles undergoing a corrective procedure today. He's expected to spend the night there. Queen Camilla says he is doing well tonight. Before his own procedure, he visited Princess Catherine, who is recovering from abdominal surgery in the same hospital there. Tonight, American gold medal skier Michaela Schifrin has been hospitalized following a crash on the slopes. One of the most successful skiers of all time. Competing in the World Cup downhill in Italy, she lost control right there on the upper part of the course, hitting the net at full speed. Airlifted to the hospital where coach tonight saying she injured her left knee, but did not suffer any serious injuries. When we come back here, the major recall tonight involving Tesla and the remarkable recording between 2 7-year-olds. And you'll hear it.
When I first learned about my
deep Patrice contracture, my physician referred me to a hand specialist. And I'm glad he did, because when I took the tabletop test, I couldn't lay my hand flat on it. The first hand specialist I saw only offered surgery, so I went to a second hand specialist who also offered non-surgical options, which felt more right for me. So what I'd say to other people with deep Patrice contracture is this: don't wait. Find a hand specialist trained in non-surgical options today. I found mine at findahandspecialist.com.
Upon approaching the 18th green, Fisa Tanaka silently proclaimed, "My brother may think he's a better golfer, a more witty conversationalist. He may think he's superior, but he's not. Because I switched to consumer cellular, for the same coverage for up to half the cost. He may have mom's dimples, but I pay less for wireless. I'm the one who wins." Birds, when freedom calls, we're here to answer.
When you have moderate to severe eczema, it's okay to show off. With Dupixent, show off your clearer skin and less itch, because you have plenty of reasons to show off your skin. With Dupixent, the #1 prescribed biologic by dermatologists and allergists, you can stay ahead of your eczema. It helps block a key source of inflammation inside the body that can cause eczema, to help heal your skin from within. Many adults saw 90% clearer skin. Some even achieved long-lasting clearer skin and fast itch relief after first dose. Serious allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Tell your doctor about new or worsening eye problems, such as eye pain or vision changes, including blurred vision, joint aches and pain, or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop asthma medicines without talking to your doctor. Show off to the world. Ask your eczema specialist about Dupixent.
Mucinex Nightshade fights your worst nighttime symptoms so you can get to sleep and you wake up ready to go. Wake up to a new you with Mucinex Nightshade. It's not cold and flu season. It's always comeback season.
You weren't made for moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis, but #1 prescribed Envie is. It's the most prescribed biologic for Crohn's and UC. In clinical trials, Envie helped many people achieve long-term relief and remission. Infusion and serious allergic reactions can happen during or after treatment. Envie may increase risk of infection, which can be serious. Although unlikely, a risk of PML, a rare, serious, potentially fatal brain infection, cannot be ruled out. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, experience frequent infections, or have flu-like symptoms or sores. Little problems can occur. Ask your healthcare provider about Envie, the treatment prescribed to more people with Crohn's and UC than any other biologic.
Jonientz of other news, and tonight Tesla is now recalling nearly 200,000 vehicles because of a software problem involving the backup camera. The company says a computer glitch could actually cause the camera to go dark with cars in reverse. The recall tonight involving some 2023 models Y, S, and X. The problem can be fixed with an online software update. Pretty easy fix. When we come back here tonight, the moment on the playground, the little boy, the little girl who said she'd been bullied, and what he did. The moment is going viral. Find out. Persons of the week.
Hey, what's up there? Oh, I switched to H&R Block, doing my own taxes online. Kind of winning taxes. Their new AI tax assist is so awesome. It answers my questions if I ever need help. So long, TurboTax. Wow, I'm gonna make the switch. You really should.
Switch to H&R Block and do your own taxes with our new AI tax assist. It's better with Block.
At SimpliSafe, we designed the #1 rated home security system powered by 24/7 professional monitoring for half the cost of traditional home security. So you stay safe for less than $1 a day. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
Hi, I'm Sally. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona. I'm a flight nurse on a helicopter that specializes in trauma. I've been doing flight nursing for 24 years. As you get older, your brain slows down, and I had a fear that I wouldn't be able to keep up. I heard about Prevision from a friend. I read the clinical study on it, and I had good reviews. I've been taking Prevision now for 5 years, and it's really helped me stay sharp and present. It's really worked for me.
Prevision, at stores everywhere without a prescription.
With Verizon Business Unlimited, I get 5G, truly unlimited data, and unlimited hotspot data. So no matter what, I'm running this kitchen.
Make the switch. It's your business.
It's your Verizon.
At Ashley, we believe everything's better in leather, which is why we offer new refined leather looks that are designed to impress and built to last.
I'm a parking gate and I'm all out of whack. It's gonna take a lot more than a little ticket to get out of here. And if you have cut rate car insurance, this could leave you all bent out of shape. So get Allstate and be better protected from mayhem. Yeah, like me. That's broken too, pal.
The Chewy app has everything for pets. Hungry pets, itchy pets, scratchy pets, and most importantly, your pet. Everyday great prices and 35% off your first auto ship order. Right to your door. Download the Chewy app.
When my doctor gave me Breasttree for my COPD, things changed. Breasttree gave me better breathing, symptom improvement, and reduced flare-ups.
Breasttree won't replace a rescue inhaler for sudden breathing problems. It is not for asthma. Tell your doctor if you have a heart condition or high blood pressure before taking it. Don't take Breasttree more than prescribed. Breasttree may increase your risk of thrush, pneumonia, and osteoporosis. Call your doctor for some breathing, chest pain, mouth, or tongue problems urinating, vision changes, or eye pain occur.
Ask your doctor about Breasttree.
Rising juvenile crime. A lot of the drug dealers were recruiting juveniles. Spotlight on America investigates underage offenders, serious crimes.
Como News, Monday at 6.
Finally tonight here, the moment on the playground. The little boy, just 7, and what he said to the little girl who believed she'd been bullied. These 2 second graders teaching us all a powerful lesson. Our Persons of the Week. Tonight, the powerful moment and the lesson on the playground. Mason and Amira are second graders at Mann Elementary School in Philadelphia. Amira believed she'd been bullied. She heard someone talking about her, picking on her, and Mason with moving words for her. Just listen. Such a nice friend, she says. Mason is just 7, so is Amira. Mason taking Amira's hand. Their second grade teacher, Ms. Fatala, capturing the moment. Assistant Principal Arnold Ford is sharing it online. It's gone viral, moving so many who've seen it. And right here tonight, Ms. Fatala's second grade class is so formal, saying, "Hi, Mr. York." Their teacher telling us the entire class is proud of Mason and Amira.
A lot of what we do in second grade is talking about finding forgiveness in our heart, and I think it meant a lot more to her that it was coming from him, her peer, than it did when I was saying it to her.
And right here tonight, those 2 7-year-olds, Mason and Amira.
It made me feel happy and good inside. If someone's being rude to you, that can really hurt your feelings, and it did. But Mason helped me.
And so we choose Mason and Amira. Don't listen to him. Listen to yourself. So, I'll see you Monday. Good night.
Thank you for making world news tonight. America's most watched newscast.
Let's go!
Yes!
You're watching Como News at 6.
Unbelievable. Sad. In the morning, you think you're safe.
Developing tonight, a suspect is still on the run after shooting and killing a woman in the parking lot of the Tequila Costco store.
Police tell us the shooting happened just after 10:30 this morning when the store and parking lot were crowded with shoppers. Let's get right to Co's Paul Rivera, who's there live with what we know so far. Paul?
Yeah, so right behind me is where this all happened, but the Costco is now closed. The police left a few hours ago, but this morning, certainly a very busy scene. In the middle of the morning at one of the busiest parking lots in the region, with a lot of people around, Tukwila police say a woman was shot and killed at the Costco parking lot near the entrance. As shoppers made their way around the crime scene tape, those walking by started to learn what happened.
It's shocking because I come here all the time and I've never heard or seen the violence that you said happened. That's really sad.
Elaine Crosby was walking her dog and not shopping this day, but she's been here before, saying she now might have to do things a little differently.
Oh my gosh. You're going to have to rethink this. I'm really sorry to hear that.
Police say the suspect is a man who drove off in a white vehicle after the shooting, getting on a nearby street before disappearing.
I hope they find him, yes, and I hope they prosecute him and they lock him away.
Later in the day, the medical examiner showed up. The Costco was closed, and Tukwila police wrapped up their on-scene investigation.
Unbelievable. Sad. In the morning, you think you're safe.
Again, a recap. This morning at this Costco parking lot in Tukwila, a woman was shot and killed. The suspect still on the loose. Tukwila police, they have not released a lot of details, but we'll update as soon as we learn more. In Tukwila, Paul Rivera, Someone News.
Paul, thank you. Turning now to a live look outside tonight as widespread rain moves into western Washington. Hard to believe it. 2 weeks ago, temperatures were down in the 20s. This weekend, they'll be in the mid-50s. Meteorologist Shannon O'Donnell joins us now with a first look at the forecast. The 50s, Shannon.
The 50s, probably the 60s in some locations by the time we hit Sunday, Monday. That is easily record territory, and you can see right away behind me the view looking pretty blurry. That is our atmospheric river taking over for our Friday night, and it is not going to loosen its grip here on the northwest until the middle of next week. This is the Pineapple Express version of an atmospheric river because of its subtropical roots pumping all the way in from the Hawaiian Islands. It brings not only the warm temperatures, but up in the Cascades, it yanks that snow level up to about 8,000 feet, well above the passes, and unfortunately, well above the ski resorts. Already starting to pour instead of snow over the high country near Snoqualmie Central Summit there. You see the steady rain from the coast to the Cascades, and yes, the Cascades. It's even raining up there over the higher terrain, including over Snoqualmie Pass, White Pass, and Stevens Pass, reporting steady rain, as are the freeways down below. Look at how we hold that 48 degrees hour after hour now that it's so warm. We're also going to hold on to the rainfall for the next several days. That forecast and where we have the most potential to see some severe river flooding ahead in my next forecast.
Thank you, Shannon. Traffic is moving again on westbound 990 following a chase that briefly blocked all lanes on Mercer Island. Our Department of Transportation camera captured the scene at the end of the pursuit near East Mercer Way. The state control tells us that it started with Snoqualmie police going after a bank robbery suspect. Troopers helped with the pursuit, which ended with a pit maneuver. 2 people, both juveniles, are now in custody. There are no reports of any injuries.
2 Thurston County Sheriff's deputies were hurt in a chase with a DUI suspect. A deputy tried to pull a man over on Martin Way East in Lacey just before 1:30 this morning. He sped north on the I-5 and then cut across the median into southbound traffic. A deputy used a pit maneuver to stop the suspect. That's when he rammed another deputy and their recruit with his truck and kept going. He was finally arrested when the transmission blew out. One of the deputies is still in the hospital with serious injuries. The other has been released.
Fixing public safety issues is considered to be the top priority for Seattle Mayor Bruce Harrell. That's what he told Como News in an exclusive interview in the wake of a spat of violent crime this week and changes within the Seattle City Council. Como senior reporter Chris Daniels sat down with Harrell today. He joins us now with more about that conversation. Chris?
Yeah, Seattle Mayor Bruce Harrell told me he believes he has political capital to spend, and he intends to use it on public safety. Seattle Mayor Bruce Harrell believes voters sent a message.
I think I'm more in line with what the voters want. And that is, we lead with public safety, that I shouldn't have to fight for budget considerations when it comes to recruiting officers or retaining officers.
What does that mean, lead with public safety?
What people are saying is they want to feel safe in their homes, on the streets, downtown areas.
Do you believe this was a mandate from voters on the direction of the city?
I do.
That means don't expect anyone to suggest further fights over cuts to public safety during a time with a heightened homicide rate or a series of freeway shootings. And he argues hiring incentives are working.
If you look at the number of people that are both quitting, the number of officers, we're getting about between 150 to 200 officers applying per month now. We have a good trajectory in front of us.
But compared to a year ago at this time, it's still relatively flatlined, isn't it?
Well, no, it's actually numbers have increased, but not nearly as much as we want them to.
The council's already hinted at it. Do you think you're going to have a guild contract to present to the council this year?
Yes, I'm fairly confident. I'm very pleased with how the discussions are going.